Hi, my name's Gabriel Scarvelli. I'm an Australian citizen living in India. I was born in Sydney into a family that was textile oriented. So we know our family goes back at least 6 generations from all over the world. There are countries from Romania, England, France, Germany, Russia, the works. I got here because of hard work and ambition. And this is part of my life story, is that others can be inspired by that journey. Of course, India comes with its challenges, but it's also one of the most mysterious, beautiful countries on earth. Now, I have traveled all the different regions before I decided India was the place for me. I traveled all over Europe, the US, etc., and found myself at home in a country like India that is a bit more relaxed, very textile oriented, and this is what my background is, the textile oriented, and a high emphasis on embroidery embellishment. So for me it was a natural choice to move to India despite all of the hardships of doing that move. I've loved every moment of it. My purpose of being here is to give the next generation the schooling they need to be able to stop a long line of poverty that they're in. Now, I'm going to, and I'm planned to, open up a school that will teach some of the skills that I've got, and I will bring in other artisans, other people of specialty to create a school that gives skill that is needed in a country that is expanding into the world economy now. So it's about pulling back on how many of the resources we're using, mostly things we cannot replace. Most of the clothing we wear is toxic. It's made out of petrochemical. It's awful for the environment during processing, but just as awful after it's discarded. There is no way at this current point in time to turn that back into fuel or to reuse it. It's plastic at the end of the day. What ends up happening, it becomes landfill or it gets set on fire. Think of that pollutant that's happening. And it's usually in places so remote we can't see it. We don't get to smell it. We don't get to see the melted plastic sitting on the ground. It's really concerning. So we all need to jump on board as best we can. There's going to be a lot of people debate. No, I don't want to, my freedom's gone. I don't want to do that. I love my fast fashion. I just want use and throw. I don't want to think about what if I get fat in 5 years or thin in 5 years, I have to alter my garments. But this is the way that humans have lived for thousands of years. Less of fast fashion, so less of the pollutants that are going and have been degrading our environment, which I've been talking about in the media for the last 20 years, and it fell on deaf ears, and it just seems now people are waking up in the last 12 months to what needs to be done. We need to make clothes of higher quality so that you don't just use and throw it, you invest more into one item. It's made out of better quality fibers that are good for the environment, using dyes that are natural, and as your garment degrades, it gets older, it gets a tear in it. We pay a lot more for tears in garments these days, that's the fashion. But as your garment degrades, how to restore your garment, how to maintain your garment, how to stop the mass production. This is a form of upcycling. It's one less item going into the trash and one more item stopping being bought that would otherwise be one of these polluting garments. So this is now part of a change of a whole society, and I'm not talking one region, I'm not talking the US, Australia or Africa, wherever. It's now we are one. We all need to work together. Now what I plan to do to help the next generation coming through, these may be 10, 12-year-olds that otherwise are not getting educated, set up a school. It's going to have an element of gardening, of course, as part of the environment. It's going to have an element of sustainable design as well as creativity. So we're teaching a way forward for them. They will be the first generation that can look at what damage has been done. And hopefully by 3 generations, that is something that's in the past. So my organization currently specializes in design, antique machine restoration, which is again part of the environmental front. Reuse what we already have. Stop throwing it away. don't just melt it down into garbage or throw it into a tip. We've got to get a system of reusing what already exists. There is already so much that exists in our world. Now, as part of my organisation, I am planning on the school. The school will focus on the children of poverty. There will also be children from different classes, but I want the kids that come from creative backgrounds. I'm going to take you to a slum shortly where you'll see the kids that are migrants from Rajasthan. We will be teaching them the skills that they need, that the world needs to go into the future. And this is something I find really important for India as we have a population explosion. We've got a huge majority now under the age of 25. This is now where the workforce is. Let's get in and taper that to be the future, the environmental conscious future. Where we want to take these kids, great example here, these are the kids of artisans, and we want to put them into skilled schooling. So this will be very practical schooling, like technical schooling. Give them some prosperity going into the future. So this is about getting a sustainable way, getting these kids out of poverty, giving them the skills to create a sustainable future. Lift these guys out of poverty, as well as helping our environment by teaching them the ways forward that we need in fashion. Okay, so here we are at one of the local schools, which is also a charity, and we're looking to take some of the students from here and work in conjunction with this school. So they've already taken some of the students of poverty and given them education up to 12, and then we're looking at taking them in the creative kids and teaching them the future of fashion. Today being a holiday, the school isn't going to be open. Unfortunately, otherwise we'll be able to go in and see some of the classrooms.